I'm Jonas Vingegaard, and welcome to the Cycling Dane.
Jonas Vingegaard is one of the most remarkable stories that we've seen as of late in the sport of cycling. The Dane has risen through the ranks of Danish Cycling into Jumbo Visma and conquered the mighty Tadej Pogačar at the Tour de France, something we all thought was unthinkable. And today we're going to dissect his incredible rise through the ranks of this, our very glorious sport of cycling. Jonas Vingegaard was born on December 10th, 1996 in Haderslev, Denmark, and grew up in Thy. Jonas Vingegaard's spark for cycling was ignited on the first stage of Post Danmark Rundt 2007, which began in Thisted. Jonas Vingegaard was with his father to watch it, and there the Thy Cycling had set up a home trainer with audience to try and see what they could do up a mountain. Not long after, he was enrolled into the club and started cycling, and thus received his cycling education at Thy Cycling. But Vingegaard's real first potential for being an incredible climber was demonstrated when he was only 16 years old and managed to climb the Alpe d'Huez climb in only 42 minutes. When Vingegaard had started to get some great results, the Danish continental team, Colo Quick, was quick to pounce as sports director Christian Andersen acted quickly, and at the end of May that year, they offered a contract to Vingegaard, and Vingegaard changed teams immediately. In order to get structure into his daily life, sports director Andersen made sure the team's new rider got a job in a fish factory, and here Vingegaard skinned fish from 6 to 12 in the morning before he went on hour-long training rides in the afternoon. In 2016 as well, he got his first international result when he finished second overall at the Tour of China stage race. And the following season, in 2017, he did not participate in many races as he sat out with a broken femur after a crash in the Tour de Fjords in Norway. Before the injury came, however, he did manage to get an overall fourth and win the youth competition in the French stage race, the Tour La Roi, and by the time he had recovered from his broken femur, the 2018 season began. He was back in good form, and on a training camp in Spain, Vingegaard, with the help of his team, managed to set the record for the test climb of the Col de Retz, close to Calpe, and Vingegaard managed to speed up the climb in 13 minutes and 2 seconds, which was 12 seconds faster than the previous record holder of none other than TJ Van Garderen. Vingegaard had also been touted as an incredible athlete as well as he underwent testing at the Team Denmark facilities, and with these incredible physical attributes and the potential, this attracted the World Tour giants of Jumbo Visma, and in the season of 2019 Vingegaard embarked on his neo-pro season with the team. Vingegaard got to experience plenty of races early on, including the Tour of the Basque Country, Tour de Romandie, and was even part of the winning team at the Hammer Series race in Stavanger. But it wasn't long before the plucky Dane tasted his own success at the World Tour level, and this came at the Tour of Poland, where on stage 6 he managed to outkick the likes of Pavel Sivakov and Jayed Hindley on the final stage to take his first pro win and overtook the leader's jersey. However, the next day wasn't quite as successful, and I will let Jonas Vingegaard share that in his own words.
In the final stage for you, what kind of happened? Because you were in the leader's jersey, no?
Yeah. I was in the leader's jersey, but I just think, I wasn't really ready to have a leader's jersey. Actually, I wasn't ready for all the pressure and all the pressure I put on my own shoulders, but also from the team and all the media and everything. It's just something you have to get used to in some kind of way, and it was I just basically think I wasn't really ready for having a leader's jersey, and I think and that's something I have to practice, and I think already later that season it already went better with a lot of pressure on my shoulders. So it's that's also I can feel this year. I'm getting I haven't raced this year, but I can feel that I feel more ready for having a leader's jersey now, because I would never have been thinking that I would get a leader's jersey last year. Every time I was racing, I was mostly racing as a helper, and then all of a sudden I was in the leader's jersey, and that just I really didn't expect that.
How long did it take for you winning the stage to get to your bed that night?
Get to my bed, I think. There were like 1.5 hour drive, because when I went there, it was I already been there for quite a long. So I think about 3.5 hours. So first we had the podium ceremony, and that took, for sure it feels like it doesn't take so long, but in the end it actually takes some time. And then I also had doping control, and there was a guy before me having a bit of trouble. So and then I was waiting there for half an hour, and for me it went quite fast. But all in all, I think it was 3 or 3.5 hours.
So that must be quite tiring when you've just ridden a stage and you just want to lie down, basically.
You
have to go through.
Exactly. But that's also what I in some kind of way need to get used to, like be relaxed in that. So kind of just it is what it is. That's something you need to. So it's just how to say that? Just get used to it. Don't be irritated about this takes really a lot of time. Try to maybe think this is what it is, and then maybe talk with the coaches or with the sports directors about what we do tomorrow, and getting something to eat, and so it's not like wasted time. For sure it feels like a bit like wasted time, but get as much out of the time as possible.
The experience served well for Vingegaard, as he was selected to be the leader once again for Jumbo Visma, this time in his home tour, the Tour of Denmark, where the Dane managed to finish 7th on the Stage 2 time trial, and he also narrowly avoided the win on the Queen stage in Vejle, being boxed in the sprint, but ultimately he finished 2nd overall in the GC at the end. Not a bad start for a neo-pro. The 2020 season was marked by COVID. However, at the back end of the year, Vingegaard got his first taste of Grand Tour racing at the Vuelta a España, where he helped Roglic retain his Vuelta title. And the highlight for Jonas was probably stage 12, up the infamous Anglerud climb, when Vingegaard managed to pull some of the best climbers in the world up the mythical climb up to 3.5 kilometers from the finish, and still managed to finish himself 14th on the stage. In 2021, during his first race of the year, the UAE Tour, Vingegaard emerged victorious on the Jabal Hais on stage 5, when he attacked the favourites in the closing moments and took his first mountaintop win in his career. Nevertheless, he continued his winning streak by triumphing in 2 stages and securing the overall victory in the Copia Bartali stage race, thereby clinching his first pro stage win as well in his career. Thereafter, Vingegaard showcased his talents once again by finishing 2nd overall in the Tour of Basque Country, closely trailing his teammate Roglic, after Vingegaard had been outmarking Tadej Pogačar on the final stage of the race to help Roglic take the overall. Jumbo Visma acknowledged this incredible performance and selected Vingegaard for his first ever Tour de France that year as well. Initially, Vingegaard was riding as a domestique for Roglic. However, Vingegaard's Tour de France was turned upside down when Roglic had a severe crash during stage 3. Roglic from there on had a very troubled Tour de France, and it didn't look like he was going to be in the stellar form that he had from the year before. Vingegaard showcased his individual prowess during the time trial stage on stage 5, finishing 3rd and securing a position within the top 10 of the GC. In the first mountain stage of the race, stage 8, Vingegaard crossed the line with the leading group of general classification contenders as well, albeit losing 3.5 minutes to Tadej Pogačar, who claimed the coveted yellow jersey. Vingegaard, however, did rise to 5th overall in the classification. Tragically, Roglic did withdraw from the race due to his injuries, leaving Vingegaard as the sole contender for the team in the classification in his first ever Tour de France. Quite daunting, to say the least. During stage 11, which involved a double ascent of the Mont Ventoux, Vingegaard launched a daring attack on the second ascent. It seemed that initially he was able to drop Tadej Pogačar and got a bit of distance. However, on the resulting descent, Pogačar managed to close the gap and the advantage was nullified. However, despite the setback, Vingegaard's impressive time gains propelled him to 3rd overall in the GC, And as the race advanced into the Pyrenees, Vingegaard solidified his position on the podium, and on stage 17, culminating at the summit of the Col de Portet, Vingegaard demonstrated his resilience once again by closely trailing Pogačar, accompanied only by Richard Carapaz. In the final sprint, Vingegaard secured second place, elevating him to second in the general classification. A similar scenario unfolded in the subsequent stage, concluding atop Les Ardennes, where Vingegaard once again finished as the runner-up on the stage. In the penultimate stage, a time trial, Vingegaard secured third, firmly cementing his second place in the general classification. With a safe completion of the final stage, Vingegaard became the second Danish rider in history to achieve a podium in the Tour de France since Bjarne Riis. In 2022, Vingegaard achieved notable success in various races. He kicked off the season with an impressive second place finish in Tirreno Adriatico, only trailing the incredible Tadej Pogačar, followed by a solid 6th place performance in the Tour of the Basque Country despite a bizarre finish line incident on a stage. The dominance of Team Jumbo Visma was evident that season, in particular in Criterium du Dauphiné, where Vingegaard claimed second overall just behind Primož Roglič, and he won the final stage as well, hand in hand with Primož Roglič. Vingegaard had a strong start to the Grand Depart of the Tour de France, which started in Denmark that year, with only Tadej Pogačar able to surpass him on the first time trial in Copenhagen. However, during stage 5, the cobble stage, Vingegaard encountered a mechanical issue and was unable to continue riding his bike. Fortunately, his teammate Van Hooijdonk was nearby and he was able to get his bike, despite the seat being positioned significantly higher than Vingegaard's. This forced Vingegaard to ride out of the saddle until the team car was ready and arrived to provide him with a suitable replacement bike. Thanks to the collective effort of the team, including a powerful performance by Wout van Aert towards the end of the stage, Jumbo Visma were able to save what was an absolute nightmare for the team. Vingegaard managed to limit his losses, and in the subsequent stages, he engaged in fierce battles with Tadej Pogačar, notably on the Super La Planche de Belfi, where he finished a very close second. However, the race turned upside down on stage 11, which proved to be a pivotal point as it featured the final climb of the Col de Granon, which had not been included in the race since 1986, when Greg LeMond famously snatched the yellow jersey from Bernard Hinault. History was about to repeat itself. Team Jumbo Visma executed a strategic attack on the Col du Telegraph and the Col du Galibier, with Roglic leading the charge. Vingegaard launched his own attack at the 5-kilometer mark of the final climb, dropping Tadej Pogačar, who had nothing left to bridge the gap, and even Geraint Thomas managed to leave behind the defending champion. Vingegaard claimed the stage win and donned the coveted yellow jersey for the first time in his career, gaining a significant time advantage over Tadej Pogačar as well in the process. Vingegaard went on to defend the jersey the very next day atop the mythical climb of the Alpe d'Huez, the climb that really set his climbing prowess on the map when he was 16. In the subsequent stages, Pogačar launched several attacks. Vingegaard responded adeptly to each of Pogačar's moves, and during stage 17, Vingegaard showcased his resilience as he matched the pace set by UAE Team duo of Pogačar and the incredible Brandon McNulty on the final climb. The victory did go to Tadej Pogačar as he managed to out-sprint Jonas Vingegaard in the final moments, but he still had the significant lead in the GC. On stage 18, Vingegaard displayed great sportsmanship when Pogačar crashed. The Dane momentarily slowed down and waited for Pogačar to catch up, ensuring a fair competition, and the two gave each other the iconic handshake. As they embarked on the final climb up to Hautecam, Vingegaard closely followed the lead of his teammate Kuss. After Kuss completed his remarkable effort, the trio caught up with Wout van Aert, who had been in the earlier break, and we had the iconic image of the green jersey leading up the yellow and the white jersey. Van Aert managed to crack Tadej Pogačar, and Vingegaard seized the opportunity to launch his own attack, pushing his limits. Vingegaard increased his lead over the two-time defending champion, crossing the line in an iconic image in the yellow jersey with over a minute's advantage. This secured his second stage win, and once again the connection with Bjarne Riis was the last Danish winner to win up the Hautecam. This all but wrapped up the general classification. During the final time trial, Vingegaard exhibited an aggressive approach, wanting not to replicate Roglic's loss on the final time trial in 2020, posting impressive times in the initial time checks. He only eased up once it became evident that he wouldn't lose any significant time in the general classification, and even gifted the stage win to his teammate and loyal lieutenant of Wout van Aert. Vingegaard crossed the finish line in Paris as well, side by side with his remaining teammates of that year. The team were absolutely incredible, winning the polka dot, winning the green jersey and the yellow jersey as well. Following his remarkable victory in the Tour de France, Vingegaard faced a period of absence from several anticipated races, and this was probably down to the intense public exposure that he had been getting. He had the huge celebration as well in Copenhagen, where the Danish public turned out at Aarhus Pleasant to celebrate, and this might have been too much for Vingegaard, and he was simply exhausted from that intense spotlight. Nevertheless, he did return later in the season to win 2 stages at the Crow race, so not a bad finish to the season. 2023 showed a different Vingegaard, a more explosive and confident Vingegaard as he took to the start of the season. He began in Gran Camino in Spain, where he won all 3 stages of the race, including the final time trial, and it was an imperious performance and only his second one-week stage race win as well. Thereafter, he went to Paris-Nice to once again lock horns with Tadej Pogačar, but was unable to match the Slovenian, who was in ferocious form. However, the Dane did, however, become the first ever Dane to finish on the podium of Paris-Nice and added another World Tour podium to his collection. Vingegaard bounced back at the Tour of the Basque Country, where he managed to settle the unfinished business at the race, as he dominated it this time, winning stage 3, 4 and 6 as well, to place himself in a very commanding win in the race, finishing ahead of the 2 Basque riders of Miguel Landa and Ion Izagirre. In the final test before the Tour at the Criterium de Dauphiné, Jonas Vingegaard moved up to 2nd in the overall classification in the time trial after Miguel Biao took the victory. And on the following stage, Vingegaard managed to drop Richard Carapaz and soloed 5.3 kilometers to the win, and won yet another stage to clinch the Dauphiné with the biggest winning margin in the last 30 years of the race, becoming the first rider as well to win both the Criterium de Dauphiné and the Tour of the Basque Country in the same year. So absolutely incredible form from the Dane. But I will say that no Danish rider has won the Criterium de Dauphiné and gone on to win the Tour de France. So potentially Jonas Vingegaard will do this as well. But anyways, this is basically it for this video. Just looking at the dramatic rise of Jonas Vingegaard throughout his very short career and winning so many races along the way. So make sure to comment down below what you thought of today's video, and check out the 2 interviews I did with him as well in 2020 and 2021. And of course, as always, subscribe to the channel, and thank you for watching and have a nice day.